The story opens in the pitch black of a cold dungeon floor, where we find young Adam sitting helplessly alongside his mother. Every captive of Castle Grayskull has been packed into these cells like caged animals, stripped of their freedom. The tyrant Skeletor has just marched away with the legendary Sword of Power. With his father gone and the kingdom fallen, Adam's hands shake with pure terror. Looking at the despair around him, he recalls how no one on Earth believed his true identity, and now they are all paying the ultimate price. But to understand this tragedy, we must rewind 15 years into the past, when Adam was just a gentle child who despised violence. He lived in the majestic kingdom of Grayskull, nestled deep within the magical world of Eternia, a planet teeming with primeval creatures and ancient empires. At the absolute center of this realm stood the Sword of Power. This was no ordinary blade. It possessed a cosmic consciousness, selecting the universe's ultimate champion and granting them godlike strength. A powerful sorceress guarded this relic, waiting centuries for the chosen one. Despite his royal duties, Prince Adam dreaded his upcoming combat training, believing he was completely worthless. Even his cowardly pet tiger, Cringer, shared his anxiety. Brushing aside their fears, the Queen strictly ordered him to report to the battlefield. Out on the training grounds, the battle-hardened Commander Duncan was roaring at his recruits with the fierce authority of a man who had saved dynasties. His skilled daughter, Tila, was dominating the drills. She and Adam were close companions, but the moment they sparred, it became painfully obvious that Adam couldn't deflect a single blow. Witnessing his son's humiliating defeat, the king stepped into the arena to challenge the boy himself. Without breaking a sweat, he pinned Adam to the dirt and bellowed a harsh warning for the entire army to hear. Adam must forge a spine of steel if he ever wishes to protect his people. Later, trying to ease the boy's mind, Duncan assured him that Eternia was peaceful and war might never knock on their door. However, the sorceress disagreed. She stared anxiously at the cosmic skies, knowing that a dark doom was already closing in. Suddenly, a ruthless enemy force breached Grayskull's defenses. They were vastly superior to the royal guards. Commander Duncan instantly clashed with a massive brute sporting a deadly hook for a hand. But the commander was brutally beaten down. Tila screamed as she saw her father fall, trying to reach him, but a massive explosion knocked them both out cold. As the king desperately tried to evacuate his people, Skeletor revealed himself, a living skeleton clad in pitch-black armor, hungry for the Sword of Power. The king ordered his wife and son to run, staying behind to face the Dark Army alone. He was defeated almost instantly, his crown snatched as a sick trophy. Meanwhile, the queen and Adam reached the sorceress. She magically bound Adam's soul to the sword and ripped open a dimensional portal to Earth. The queen decided to stay back, fighting off Skeletor just long enough for Adam to escape, screaming her final words, "Never lose the sword!" But as the portal's violent gravity pulled the boy, the blade slipped from his grasp, shattering into two pieces that plummeted to different corners of Earth. Fast forward 15 years. An adult Adam is sitting on a date, passionately explaining his entire cosmic backstory. The woman quickly concludes he is completely insane and makes a quick excuse to leave. Returning to his apartment, Adam complains to his roommate that his past has ruined his fourth date. But even his roommate thinks he's delusional. Adam retreats to his bedroom, where the walls are plastered with sketches of his lost world, the only proof of a life no one believes in. The next morning, he drives his rundown car to a soul-crushing HR job. Between boring corporate calls, he secretly hunts for his sword online. His angry boss catches him and delivers a final warning. Focus on your job or get out. Just then, a notification pops up. Someone has found the weapon. Dropping everything, Adam rushes to the location. He arrives at a giant statue where half of the sword is stuck. Ignoring warnings from the locals, he approaches a huge Viking-like man holding the weapon. Adam grabs it. Nothing magical happens, but he simply walks away without paying. The police instantly surround him. Suddenly, a massive hairy beast crashes into the scene. The moment Adam touched the steel, a cosmic signal rippled through the universe, and Skeletor sent this monster to retrieve it. Before the beast can strike, a fully grown, battle-hardened Tila arrives. They sprint to her spaceship and blast off, leaving the stunned Earth crowd behind. Arriving at the ruined remains of Grayskull, an enemy scout spots them. Tila leads Adam to an underground rebel shelter filled with surviving rat people and broken heroes. When Adam tries to introduce himself as the prince, he awkwardly mispronounces everyone's names. Nobody believes him. They snatch his sword and lock him and Tila in a cell. Inside, they find a reprogrammed combat robot and a depressed alcoholic Duncan, who has completely given up on life. Suddenly, Skeletor's troops smash through the hideout's walls. Adam grabs the combat robot to blow open their cell door, clearing an escape path. As the rebels flee the crumbling shelter, the hook-handed lieutenant, the same beast who broke Duncan 15 years ago, blocks their ship. He brutally beats Adam to the ground. Just then, the sorceress's voice echoes from the blade, revealing the magic words. Adam chants the spell, transforming into a towering supercharged warrior. He effortlessly rips the hook off the lieutenant's arm and destroys the squad. Skeletor arrives moments later, furious, and sends fighters after their ship. Adam destroys the pursuers, but their ship crashes, grounding them. Meanwhile, a frustrated Skeletor burns a rebel hostage alive to set an example, demanding the sword. Back at the crashed ship, Duncan finds his old armor and a hidden stash of tequila inside it, making Teela gag. Suddenly, a massive hologram of Skeletor pierces the night sky. He threatens Adam. "Your parents are alive. Bring the sword to Snake Mountain alone or watch them die slowly." Ignoring the trap, Adam, Teela, and Duncan storm the fortress. Inside, Skeletor holds King Randor hostage. Refusing to surrender the blade, Adam slaughters wave after wave of enemy soldiers, making his captive father incredibly proud. Trying to create a distraction, Adam unleashes a massive shockwave, but it triggers a cave-in, burying his father under heavy debris. In his final moments, the king pulls Adam close, explaining that his past harshness was meant to forge Adam for a merciless world. The king dies in his son's arms. Exploiting this tragic moment, Skeletor knocks Adam out, steals the sword, and throws the entire crew into a dungeon. Adam reunites with his grieving mother, breaking the tragic news of his father's death. Meanwhile, Skeletor tries to activate the sword's ultimate power, but the spell fails. His evil sorceress, Evil-Lyn, explains that the blade must be placed in the sacred sanctuary of Castle Grayskull to unlock its true potential. Skeletor marches toward Grayskull, burning everything in his path. Down in the dark cells, Adam finally steps up as a true leader. Though he still fumbles their names, his heartfelt speech ignites the prisoners' spirits. They break out, hijack enemy ships, and fly straight for Grayskull. Everyone splits into their own battles. Cringer, now a massive armored battle cat, brutally fights the hairy Earth Beast. Teela hunts down Evil-Lyn. Duncan and the robot try to collapse a massive bridge to crush the enemy army below. Suddenly, an enemy ship blasts the robot into pieces. Without hesitation, Duncan grabs a grenade, leaps onto the enemy ship, drops the explosive, and jumps to safety just as the vessel erupts into flames. Surviving the fall, the robot's severed head casually remarks, "Well, that was unpleasant," making Duncan laugh out loud for the first time in 15 years. Inside the throne room, Skeletor smashes the Sword of Power with his dark staff, shattering it into pieces. Adam instantly loses his powers and falls to his knees. Skeletor tortures his mind, showing him visions of his pathetic Earth life, the boring HR calls, the failed dates. "You were never a hero," Skeletor whispers, plunging the broken blade into Adam's chest. As Adam fades into darkness, the sorceress appears in his mind. She softly reveals, "The sword was never the source of your strength. It was just a cup. The power was always inside you." Adam's eyes snap open. A blinding golden light erupts from his chest, levitating him off the floor. The shattered pieces of the blade fly through the air, forging back together in his hand. His glowing armor returns. Skeletor, terrified, tries to negotiate, offering to rule the world together. Adam remembers his father's final words, shakes his head, and delivers a godlike punch that sends Skeletor flying across the room. He beats the tyrant relentlessly, shattering his magical defenses until Skeletor is reduced to nothing but a lifeless skull rolling on the floor. Evil-Lyn runs away into the shadows. The Dark Army collapses. Finally, after 15 long years, the Queen takes her throne, the citizens step out into the light, and Eternia breathes freely once again.